What's your name? Nikita. Kornenko Nikita? Nikita Yurievich. Date of birth? October 27th, 1996. Kornenko Nikita. Place of birth? Donetsk region, urban type settlement of New York. New York? Yes. Did you apply for an exchange? Yes. What's the verdict? 5 years. How long were you in prison? In 4 days, it will be exactly 1 year. In 4 days, it will be exactly 1 year. Only 4 more years to go? Yes. Is it possible to be released early from prison? As we have been told by lawyers, prosecutors, and legal experts alike, there is no early release from prison under our articles. Why do you want to be traded? How to tell you? My mom is now in the city of Donetsk. Do you agree to the publication of our video? I agree. Shall we talk? Yes. Can we record it, post it, YouTube it? Yes. How long have you lived in Donetsk? Are you and your mother residents of Donetsk? No, we lived until 2022, before the war started, in the urban-type settlement of Novgorodskoye. The new name is the urban-type settlement of New York. But it is not under occupation. At this point, this urban-type settlement has already been destroyed. I understand. The war. Mom's there now. I want to be closer to her. I want to be in Donetsk. Where's your mom? My mom's in Donetsk. How did she get there? From Ukrainian-controlled territory. No obstacles? Yes. Did it pass the entry inspection? I think it's true. If she's there, it means she's been authorized to enter. On what grounds? I don't know, but all I know is that she left home. Do you have her phone number? I have her Ukrainian phone number. A number to call. You can't call from Ukrainian. Did you call her? No. She didn't call you? No. And you don't talk to her? No. Is there someone's number to get her number? We can just call her. I know she has WhatsApp on the Ukrainian number. Yes, WhatsApp works. Then tell me that number. They came on August 24th, asked if you agreed to the exchange. If you agreed, write a statement. I wrote a statement. Then, in February, I was convicted. The sentence had already been passed. Does that look like her avatar? Yes. And they said if you have a criminal record, they'll change you. I got it. Since April I have been here in colony number 80. From here I have already written to the Commissioner for Human Rights of the Supreme Council of Ukraine that I am here and that I give my voluntary consent to the exchange. And I received an official reply that my application was considered and my appeal was sent to the Coordination Headquarters for Prisoners of War Affairs and to some other joint center. No, I got it. Message delivered but not read. Awaiting reply. What were you convicted of? Under Article 114, it is the transmission of information that is not in the public domain. Did you transmit? Yes. In order not to read out your court verdict, tell us about the crime itself. What happened and how did it happen? I don't know the man. Yes, but I gave him information about the roadblock. Of course, everybody knew about the roadblock, but I gave him some coordinates that were just asked for. No casualties in Ukraine, and thank God. But I passed the coordinates to the Russians. Coordinates of Ukrainian military units or locations? Just locations. We don't have a military unit. Where we're standing? Lots of military cars. Well, where they were standing. I don't know exactly how many. Did you realize that a lot of people could die? Yeah, I knew it. I don't know why it happened. But then when I was arrested, of course, I realized it was wrong. And even so, it turns out that I was still transmitting. It was in May. Yes, in May. And after that I didn't transmit anything. That is, I was arrested in July, but from May to July I did not hand over anything. I realized that because of my actions, there could be an artillery shell hit and casualties. I mean, I don't know. So you were transmitting for a while and then you stopped? Well, if you refer to the court's sentence, my sentence only says 1 day. The court's verdict reads, and in reality? Maybe 3 or 4 days, no more. I got it. I only have 1 day written in my court sentence. It was the 29th of May. The 29th? I think so. By and large, it's enough. It makes sense. Not 1 day, not 2, not 10. The gist of the case. The essence of the transmission is fixed, and that's what counts. You say you don't know what moved you. The fact that you made a mistake is not the reason. What was your motivation? I don't know. I'll ask you straight out. Did you sympathize with Russia? I'll be honest, yes. What is the purpose of this videotaping? What, let's say, are the political prisoners' plans for the future? What are they going to do with them in general? I told you right away that we were adding to the POW exchange fund, yes. Well, personally, I think it's normal that we give away people like you who sympathize with Russia. You're not telling me everything. If I take it, I said, honestly, yes, that I sympathize. I'm not going to deny. Yes, that's right. Yes, it is. And I think it is normal that we will give people like you to Russia. And those whom Russia took by force and stole from Ukraine, we will bring back here. I think you yourself realize that there are some people who have managed to move out on their own. Those people who moved of their own free will and want to live there? Yes, there are some. But there are also those who were somehow evacuated. And there are those who, as it turned out, were forcibly removed. And the kids. There are those who left on their own. Yes, there are some. Those who left voluntarily. Respectfully. You want to go to Russia? And who is forbidding you all this time? But let me get this straight. You live in a city, for example, New York. Or in Druzhkovka, in Pokrovskoy, and so on. All these events are happening here. Your apartment costs money, right? Yes. Just sell the apartment. Sell all your possessions. Take the money, your passport, and go to Russia and live there. How was it possible to leave? If just, let's say, someone was leaving, but they weren't allowed out? That's why I asked about your mother. Somehow she was able to leave in 2022. Yes, she was able to leave. But I don't know how. I know she's just there now. She has already obtained citizenship, I know. She is there. She is considered already a native of the Russian Federation. Well, how to say, there are Donetsk, Luhansk, Kherson, Zaporizhia regions. They are not recognized as having become part of the Russian Federation. They are considered to be the territory of Ukraine, right? They have been and will continue to be considered Ukrainian territory from the point of view of Ukraine and from the point of view of international law. And Donetsk, and Luhansk, and Crimea. But from Russia's point of view, they supposedly became part of it, although some of them have already managed to secede. Well, Kherson, for example. I haven't heard that anywhere. I will not deceive you. They recognized the Kherson region as supposedly Russian. And the city of Kherson, I heard that. After that, yes, after that they were defeated in Kherson and wrote that it was a goodwill gesture and they were leaving. Although before that they had put up posters everywhere that they would stay in Kherson forever. On TV, they said that posters were torn down there when Ukraine entered. It's true. I know it's kind of on the left bank. Yeah, and some people went there voluntarily. Yeah, where were we? I'm saying we can take the people who didn't go there voluntarily instead of you. I know they went there willingly. Let them keep going. As the prosecutor said, when I was initially detained and who I was in the cell with, they said we were brought in for an exchange. That you were found, you were tracked down, so to speak, in order to change for people like you, who were also taken there by force, as in Ukraine. That's what I said, that I give my voluntary consent to be given and taken away instead of me. I understand that you're giving voluntary consent. And that's where your voluntary consent was taken. Are you not beaten, tortured, abused here? Tell me why you were assigned to the so-called dishonorable units? I have no idea about this criminal world, no idea what you're talking about at all. How do I explain to her which son to talk to? Say, Nikita. Many sons? There's also a son, my older brother Seryoza, Sergey. He is in the territory of Ukraine, and he fully supports Ukraine. He knows I'm here, but he doesn't communicate with me because I'm with such an article. He fully supports Ukraine. How old are you? I'm 26 years old. How old is he? And he's 32 years old. Is he your own older brother? A native older brother. At a time like this, I'd like to say, listen to your big brothers. This does not apply to everything, but in this case it is true. I am Kirienko Nikita Yurievich, born on October 27, 1966. Convicted under the 114th article, which is espionage on the territory of Ukraine in favor of the Russian Federation. I want to be exchanged, to be accepted by the Russian side, because I already have relatives there who simply sympathize with Russia. Please help make my exchange happen. That last question is interesting to me personally. And if you are exchanged, given weapons, which is likely to happen, and told to go to war, what would you do then? I don't know. In fact, I first told the police and the security service of Ukraine about it. They asked me the same thing. I don't know, because I did conscript service in Ukraine. But I say, I am a weapon in my hands, for me to kill a person. I do not know. I feel sorry for the cat, so I do not know. Me too, but it's a different situation here. Yeah, but I don't know what's gonna happen there. Maybe I'll go to jail. I'm saying I don't want to pick up a gun. You'll be imprisoned there. I said maybe I'd be put in jail there. I don't know. I don't want to take up arms. I don't want to kill people. It's not my thing. It's a very different environment. I'd say it's worse. I don't know. And the time frame could be longer. When did you write? What month? The first time was on the 24th of August last year. On August 24th of last year, almost a year ago, you applied for an exchange. And we put you on the list right away. And again in April when I got here. And in April again, yes. Almost a year has passed, but the Russian side has not responded to your request for an exchange. What I am doing is the last hope for you. There is hope that in the next 2 or 3 months they will still respond and pick you up. And if not, then in that case we will show. Here are your people who worked for you and helped you, but for some reason you don't want to protect them. So maybe the problem is not the defense of the people you've been talking about all along, Donbass and all that. But the problem is the desire to take the territories. Do you understand me? Yes. Am I saying that right? Yes. A fair point? Yes. My name is Vladimir. I am a journalist, blogger. What's your name?
My name is Andrei.
Completely.
Moros Andrei Ruslanovic.
Date of birth?
March 11th, 97th year.
The city?
The city of Belozersk, Krasnoarmysky district, Donetsk region.
Was this neighborhood occupied?
No.
Never been occupied?
No.
Did you live there?
Yes.
Did you apply for an exchange?
Yes, my paperwork's been accepted.
Yeah, we've got your paperwork on our end.
I know, on both sides.
Only they haven't picked you up yet. Why not?
I don't know.
When did you apply?
I was told by my lawyer that the prosecutor handed over some documents. Well, that was back in December of last year. Late 2022 year, almost the beginning of the next year.
It's been almost 6 months.
Yes.
Nothing's happening yet.
Yeah. I don't think they trade any civilians at all.
Problem. They're here to protect you, aren't they? Do you belong to them?
I think so.
Why?
I don't know. I mean, they came and said that the territory, like Donetsk region, is considered.
The territories couldn't get it and they don't want to take you.
I don't know. They don't do civilians. They do military exchanges.
Why is that? I mean...
And they don't take civilians.
It's a knock on the defense's theory. Maybe they didn't want to protect you if they didn't take you?
I don't know.
Maybe the target was the territory?
Why they want the territory? I don't know what their purpose is. Well, because Russia has such a huge territory. Why would they want Ukraine? I don't even know.
Then what's the point of the invasion?
I think it's more of a geopolitical issue.
Explanation.
NATO.
NATO. And then what?
That's why I think Russia started this.
For what?
To set aside an area, to buffer the area.
So it's still a territory?
Yes, buffer zone and population.
Population?
The population is Russian-speaking.
Is that a buffer?
No, the Russian-speaking population. They said they were, like, their own people.
And the Russian-speaking population in Kiev, his too?
Pick up?
Yes.
I think so.
They need to pick up.
I'd rather have a referendum on the whole area.
Better a referendum?
Well, if I could do that.
Why wouldn't Russia have a referendum?
About what?
Regarding the secession of Tatarstan, Tuva, Buryatia.
I don't know. I haven't been to Russia and I can't say on the matter.
Tell us. Do you voluntarily consent to the recording and publication of the video?
Yes.
What were you convicted of?
I was convicted under Section 114, unauthorized transmission of data.
What and where did you send it?
I was relaying the location of WSU troops to people in my town and in a neighboring town.
What cities are these in?
Dobropilya.
Dobropoli? Aha! I was there, too. How much information did you pass on?
2 buildings in Dobropilya, and 3 buildings in our city.
Where were the buildings?
Near.
What's the time frame?
6 years.
Why so few?
This article suggests 5 to 8 years.
Did your actions result in shelling? Or casualties?
Not at all.
Apparently your actions did not result in firings, otherwise it would be a different article.
I think so.
How did you transfer the data?
I used Telegram.
How did the Russians contact you?
I wrote to the chatbot myself.
Have you written in there that you want to transfer data?
Help.
Help. Why do you hate Ukraine so much?
I don't like the politics that have been with us since the 14th.
Exactly?
When right sector was taking over city halls all over the territory, and in Donetsk and in Luhansk, civilians just took to the streets. They came out and we were told to leave or force would be used. I don't understand it at all. Why was it possible for the right sector to occupy regional mayors' offices there, but here the population was not allowed to do so?
Because the population came out with Russian flags.
This is how people in Odessa and Kharkiv came out with Russian flags.
That's exactly what it's forbidden to do.
They don't know how to do anything. And about 100 people were injured in the clashes.
And this video of the first casualties in Donbass, this video. Do you know who the first victims in Donbass were? Ukrainians, with Ukrainian flags, on their own land. They were killed there, but it didn't outrage anyone. What is Poroshenko wrong? Where is his mistake?
No, I saw the video when he was standing on Maidan.
Yet the phrase is the same?
The phrase is the same.
Yes, it's just that you heard part of it, and here's the whole line. What's he saying wrong? He says that all this can be achieved only through peaceful means, only through negotiations. That the city that was liberated, I think he's talking about Slavyansk. Even yesterday there were separatists there, today people have everything. Light, water, heat, you can buy bread, and everything is normal. And children will go to school, and on the other side people will sit in basements because they don't know how to do anything. Sure, he says a lot of buzzwords on stage. But in essence?
I don't know. Here he is talking about the peaceful way, but what did he do in the end? I realize this is Ukrainian territory. Everyone sees it differently. I don't think so. I wanted to have neither Russia nor Ukraine at all. Give freedom to our region. You should have said so in the first place. This is the third time during our conversation that you have changed your fundamental position.
First you said that they voted for autonomy there, But they didn't vote for autonomy there, they voted for secession. Then you said you were for Russia. Now you say we don't need neither Russia nor Ukraine. How can you live like this?
You say, Russia, Ukraine. Someone is attacking. There are terrorists there, and there are terrorists there. I don't like war, you understand? I wanted to live at home.
That's normal.
I don't need Ukraine and Ukrainianization. Just let me live and raise my children.
That's how you lived and sold fruit.
I can tell you something else. And to live in frontline zones, on one side is the DNR, and on the other the right sector. And we were on our way to make a roof.
When was that?
14th year.
That's gone now. It was chaos then, yes. There were a lot of problems, but you kept on living, you traded your fruit. You lived almost normally. Yes, the economic situation was not very good, and there was no sausage like in the USSR, but there was other sausage. At the same time, the standard of living in Russia is not very good either. Some regions, almost 30% of Russia is not gasified, and this country sells gas. And people don't have proper toilets in many regions. That's a fact, too. Life there is not wonderful either. And yet you live in this country and say that you do not need Ukraine or Russia. This is your third point of view today. But you are handing over the location of Ukrainian military equipment to Russia. How to explain such your actions if you do not need neither Russia nor Ukraine?
No, with what's going on now, I don't need countries like that. Not Ukraine, not Russia. They hide behind cities.
Have you ever seen them hiding behind cities before? I showed you the video. That's just part of it.
I saw it.
It was already like this at the time. You think it should be better now?
I can't answer that question. I'd like to finish it all together and leave already, if that's okay.
Sure. I'm thinking, how do we end? How do we undercut this conversation? If you first say one thing, then another, now a third. And as a result, you don't know and want to end the conversation, contact the Russian side and explain why they should take you away. After all, we're talking for the purpose of trading you. Since you are an incomprehensible person, you don't understand what Ukraine is and why to be Ukrainian and what it means, and you still want to go to Russia. Explain why you want to go to Russia, why they should take you.
I don't have anything to say.
You have nothing to say. I'm going to tell you one more time. If you even go to the other side, I can tell you straight, you will regret it very much.
I don't know. If they take me there, I think so.
I don't know if they'll take you because they don't take their military.
I may well have to serve my entire sentence here.
How old?
6.
5 to go.
Practically, yes.
I got it. My point is that you can do your time here and go free. During this time, you should think and understand what Ukraine is, and why, when you live in this country, you should live in this country. If you do not like it here, you can leave. The second option is to work to make things better. The third option, if you are interested in political life, you should somehow influence it, be an active citizen. If you don't like something, say you don't like it. But I don't want to hear about Ukrainianization, which you mentioned 10 times in the video. I don't feel this Ukrainianization, being in Kiev. I can speak Ukrainian. Is that a problem for you?
Not really, but I understand.
Harder. But you were forced to do it?
Basically, just official paperwork.
It's always been like this. It didn't start 10 years ago. You just didn't notice that the documents were always filled out in Ukrainian. And it didn't cause any problems for anyone. Here you go. Even if you serve a full term here and realize that this is a separate independent country and that there is no need to call Russia or any other country here, there is definitely no need, and no need to give them the coordinates of military equipment. and you will go on living. But if you are exchanged, I am sure that instead of you there will be a Ukrainian who does not need to explain all this. It's not clear what you're going to come up with in the remaining 5 years. You will arrive there, and about 50% of the time, I'm sure they will give you a machine gun and say, go to war. And then, if by some miracle you survive, you will come back to me for an interview, only as a prisoner. And even more than that, maybe without a leg or an arm, there were many of them. And I will ask you again, did Russia help you? You will sit with your head down, not knowing what to say. Because you could have had a normal life, but you chose to live this way without even 10% understanding what you are doing and why you are doing it when you pass this information to the Russian side. And you did it completely deliberately, right?
Yes.
Last question. Would you repeat everything you've done?
I don't know what to say.
So, after all this conversation, you still allow for the option that you would repeat all this way, passing on the information again?
I don't think so.
Name?
Vorshilov Alexander Ivanovich.
Date of birth?
September 30th, 1970.
Where are you from?
City of Novodruzhsk, Luhansk region.
The city wasn't under occupation?
Now under occupation. It wasn't then.
Wasn't there an occupation then?
Not yet.
Got it.
They took me away early.
You have Article 111, Part 2.
Yeah, 8 years.
8 years.
I signed it myself.
Let me explain. We record the video, post it on YouTube for everyone to see, and for RF to take you in. Would you be okay with that record?
I'm all for it. I want to go there.
Got it. Okay.
My mother's waiting there.
Your mother?
Yeah, she just had a stroke, and she's barely living there without me.
Did your mother stay there?
Of course. She's 87 years old.
Did she fall under occupation?
Yeah.
Do you want to be sent home?
I really want to go home.
I see. And if the Ukraine then takes that territory back?
I'm going away with my mother.
Will you be leaving?
Yes.
Got it.
You can't be in Ukraine. That's how it was explained to me. I'll find a place to go.
You have a small case. Tell me about it.
I wouldn't want to talk about it.
It's only 3 pages. Tell me about it.
They wrote what they wanted to write.
Personally, I'm interested in what was.
They came, took me away, said I was a gunner. They took my cell phone.
The phone with a certain subscriber number, being on the territory of Novodruzhsk, Luhansk region, from the 24th to the 25th of April, performed tasks from representatives of the armed forces of the Russian Federation. That's what it says.
I'm telling you, it's bullshit. Everyone who's read it and knows me is laughing. I'm a YouTube star. My wife says, who knows you? Worked with you. Watching this video everyone laughs. I don't know how to use my phone like that. How could I transmit something? There's nonsense written in there. I don't realize how it's written there. It's just funny.
You passed the data on the Ukrainian armed forces.
No, online is different.
I don't know.
Like I was doing it for money.
Yes?
Yeah, I'm told. Those who know you're laughing. It's a lot of bullshit out there.
You didn't transmit the data?
I didn't leave the house at all. And they said to me, you went around town. They gave me a piece of paper to read. This kind of font. They said, read it and in 20 minutes you will go home to your sick mother. I said, are you sure? Yes. And then they gave me a paper with a very small print on it. I said, let me read it. You don't need it. And it said that I wanted Russia to take Donetsk and Luhansk regions. Allegedly, I went and filmed the positions on my phone and passed on the information. And then they asked, don't you have a sister in Rubizhna? And Rubizhna was already half occupied. Rubizhna is 2 kilometers from me. Foolish me. I said, yes, I have a sister there. Then they tore up the sheet of text, printed a new one and let me read it on camera. Like I was giving my sister information. I said, so you're going to decide what I did?
There's nothing here about your sister.
It was about a sister.
Or maybe I'm reading something wrong. Checking.
I've got a copy. I must have. I told them my last name, but I had the wrong middle name. They said it didn't matter. Then the lawyer says, I'll find 2 witnesses that you were walking around the city. I didn't leave the house. We were bombed heavily. They even carried bread home for me.
Russia or who?
We were being shelled.
Russia?
Yes.
Why do you love Russia so much after this shelling?
I don't love Russia. I want to go home. I don't care. The Ukrainian military were standing nearby, and they were shooting at us. They were there in 2014. There is an abandoned mine there.
There, that's right. There it is, that paragraph. I missed it. In April 2022, Voroshilov Alexander Ivanovich, acting willfully to the detriment of the sovereignty, territorial integrity and inviolability of Ukraine, being on the territory of Novodrush, Luhansk region, colluded with Valentina Grigoryevna Esipova, acting on behalf of the Russian armed forces in the town of Rubizhne. Voroshilov, while communicating using a personal telephone with the subscriber number, with a person acting on behalf of the Russian armed forces in Rubizhne and using the phone number, by means of mobile communication, received an offer to carry out activities aimed at collecting, with the purpose of transferring to a foreign state, statements about the armed forces of Ukraine. Voroshilov, while staying on the territory of Novodruzhsk, in fulfillment of the assignment of unidentified persons of the armed forces of the Russian Federation, in the period from the 24th to 25th of April 2022, acting intentionally to the detriment of the sovereignty of, from the same phone number that ends with a 9. And there's another number, but no, it's the same number with 43 at the end, to whom you supposedly reported something. What is this phone number?
How do I know? I don't remember by the numbers.
066.
Sister's number. I talked to her like a relative. They were bombed everywhere. They had no communication. They crawled out of the basement. How are you? Are you alive? I'm fine. That's how we talked. One paper was torn, the other printed.
That's all there is to it. That's exactly what I read on your charge. But you signed the agreement for some reason, didn't you?
I was told, if I signed, I would be exchanged. And if I didn't sign, no exchange, I would be in prison for 15 years or more. I believed them. I signed it, because without it, they wouldn't have traded me. And I had to go to my mom's. So I signed it. Believed it. Signed it, and it turned out to be all a fairy tale. I'm 53 years old, but I was tricked like a child.
You have a criminal record?
No.
What have you been doing with your life?
I was working, the household.
Where?
For the last 22 years I have been working as a mechanic at a wastewater treatment plant. At first, I was hired to run a subsidiary farm, raising pigs. Then the pigs were transferred, and I was made a fitter. At home I have cows, pigs, my own farm.
You got a wife and kids?
Fifth.
Fifth already?
We'll get married after the war. Because of the war, we didn't have time to get married. Enough already. I'm 53 years old.
Yes, I agree. It seems that way.
For a mug of water.
Are there children?
No, the kingdom of heaven.
There were. Dead. I guess. Huh?
Died in childhood.
I get it. It's a little too personal. Invite the next one. What else can I say? I have nothing to say.
You see how well I was deceived. And I told them, shoot me at once. They said, no, you'll go home in a week. That's the trouble. I, Vorshilov Alexander Ivanovich, 1970, year of birth September 30th, was born in the Lugansk region, the city of Novodruzhsk. That's the story. I, Vorshilov Alexander Ivanovich, born September 30th, 1970, Lugansk region, city Novodruzhsk, convicted under Article 111, Part 2. I am currently in detention.
What's the time frame?
Got 8 years, 2 have passed. I'm very eager for an exchange. I appeal to the Russian government to exchange me. My sick mother is waiting at home.